That brings me to digestive enzymes. So a lot of people say, well, why do I need digestive enzymes? If you have any health issue, blood pressure, digestive issues, overweight, diabetes, really everybody needs to optimize their digestion, because it's not what you eat. You are not what you eat. You are what you assimilate. So if you are eating healthy food, but you're not able to break it down, and you're not able to utilize the nutrients that are in that food, then you can't be optimal, right? So digestion is really one thing, and absorption is a different story. I'll give you a good for instance. Okay, B12 is a very important nutrient. It actually is something, if gotten in the right form, helps with neurotransmitters in the brain, energy and metabolism, methylation, which is our body's process of detoxification, which I did talk about in previous videos. But if you don't have adequate stomach acid or something called intrinsic factor, then you're not going to absorb your B12 even if you get it in a good form. So it really is important that you get those vitamins in good forms and that you're assimilating them. And drugs can actually also decrease stomach acid. So a lot of people out there today have heartburn. How many people have taken Tums or Rolaids or something, or prescription, or over-the-counter like a Nexium or a Prevacid, or some people call them acid blockers, but proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs. And if you got this, you probably went to your doctor because you said, oh, I have acid reflux and it's really bothering me. And I'm sure that the doctor probably never had this conversation with you. Well, it could be that your stomach acid is too low. Let's try a protocol to increase it. Sounds like the opposite of what we're told, right? Usually it's, oh, well, you have high stomach acid and we need to lower it. And I'm here to tell you that probably the majority of cases that are treated for high stomach acid actually is low stomach acid. And we need to have enough stomach acid to break down our food and utilize our very important vitamins. And it's interesting that both conditions will show the same symptoms: heartburn, reflux, belching, burning, that kind of thing. So it's kind of crazy that two opposite ends of the spectrum would have the same symptoms, but they do. And actually, I have on my website, if you type in stomach acid, you will, in the search bar, you will actually find an article I wrote that shows you how to test yours. So it's a very interesting, easy at-home test. You can do it in a few minutes with things you probably already have in your cabinet. I think it would be very interesting to see. So if you are on any kinds of thing like that, proton pump inhibitors, there are a few things that you might want to try before you go to these drugs, because these drugs rob our body of essential nutrients that we need for methylation and other processes. So some simple rules for healthy digestion. Well, you could just try just a shot glass full of apple cider vinegar and a glass of water just prior to every meal. And even though that will increase stomach acid, apple cider vinegar actually leaves an alkaline ash in the body. So it does one thing in the stomach, but in the bloodstream it does something different. It does provide that beneficial acid to break down foods. Now, the other thing you could try is you could try adding some fermented foods to your diet, like kimchi or sauerkraut or kombucha or something like that. Also, though, there are other foods that do a really, really good job of being a probiotic that will help with digestion. And those are things like jicama, asparagus, onions, and all of those things are prebiotic foods. And prebiotic foods basically feed the good bacteria. Now, I don't know about you, but not many people want to go someplace and, not get a meal. If you think you're going to get a free meal, everybody's there, right? These bacteria get a free meal every time you eat that, and they get very happy and they stick around. So that's how we build a healthy digestive tract. And I'm not saying go crazy with these foods, because if you really do want to eat a higher fat diet, you'll need them in moderation, but only in moderation. And I have a very comprehensive list for you in my book that I wrote, Probiotics, Minding Your Microbiome, and some simple steps to healthy digestion, which I will be including in one of my emails after I start sending out the videos for this training. I'm going to be updating that for you. There's a wonderful list in there that talks about all of this stuff and how to get the right digestion and how to pick a good probiotic. Now, some special considerations. If you're trying these foods like onions and asparagus, and you have a lot of gas and a lot of bloating, you have a gut in distress, and you're going to need to take some steps to fix that. I have a great couple of articles on my website about that. But there are, really some conditions that warrant going a little slower with this, or even avoiding some of these foods for a while and bringing them in very, very slowly, because we really don't want any trigger foods in the diet, because that can cause inflammatory processes as well. Now, there are 2 or 3 things that I really love if someone is working on their digestion, and that would be berberine. Now, you can get berberine from several herbs. One is called Oregon grape. The other one could be golden seal or Indian barberry. Those all contain berberine, but you can also find it by itself on it as its name, berberine, as a supplement. And the other thing that is important for healthy digestion is to stop spiking insulin. Eat within a 1-hour window, like I talked about in the caveman reset. Have 2 to 3 meals. If you want any snacks, have them in that window of 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after for the best blood sugar control. And the last thing we're going to talk about tonight is DHA. And I did talk about it a little bit because it really does warrant me bringing it up again. It is so critically important that it warranted me just kind of adding it to the D's and bringing it up again. And one of the reasons why it's so important is because of its omega-3 content. So when we eat fish, fatty fish, we get that omega-3 benefit. And today's diets are too high in omega-6s and not high enough in omega-3s. A growing number of studies in both human and animals is really showing a strong correlation between the intake of omega-3s, especially DHA, and cognitive function, visual acuity, and overall brain development. We are devoid of omega-3s in our diet on a regular basis. It's just not the way it was when all we did was fish and eat greens. So we really need to replace that. Now, when getting it from plants, not everybody can convert that ALA, which you can get from flaxseed. Like if you're vegetarian, a lot of people will do the flaxseed to try to get that omega-3. But it doesn't convert 1 for 1. As a matter of fact, you only get about 40% of the omega-3s from plant sources as you do from fish sources, which you get 100%. The average intake is far below the 650 milligrams that's recommended that we need for good health. So, development of children is critical that they get DHA, because you got to remember with these types of things, with the lipid covering over our brain, over our nerves, everything is regulated through cell metabolism, and DHA is connected to all of that. So DHA, water, minerals, talk to our cells. And one of the best ways, again, to help with your DHA is to get light to your retina. And if you have glasses like I do, you take the glasses off. Expose your eyes to the sun every single morning, or get that bright light like I talked about. Remember, we are electric beings, and our brains and the brain cells need that light for the DHA to make energy for our brains. So very, very important if you're interested in brain health. DHA is the great communicator. It also decreases inflammation and reduces the risk of Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia. Now, Alzheimer's disease is now being called type 3 diabetes. So we really, really are going to benefit from this low sugar diet, this high fat diet, high in omega-3s. Those are some of the most important substances for the human body and the most important substances for metabolism. Want more energy? Dr. Jack Kruse, I'm going to quote him to say that he says, DHA is the only substance capable of transforming natural light into electricity for the brain. Okay, there you have it. That's right from a neuroscientist, one of the most brilliant guys on the planet when it comes to this stuff. But we lose our life force when we don't have this light in our eye. It's very important. And less retinal, I wrote DNA instead of DHA, but less retinal DHA impacts cellular energy production in the mitochondria, the little powerhouses where our energy is made, and the result is less energy. So if you're feeling crappy, shut off the computer and get some daylight in your eye. Now, that's the end of our training. It's been such a pleasure to go through the Fuel program with you, and I hope you really enjoyed it and you really put these things into practice. Remember, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at Sandra at biohackingwellness.com. My website is www.biohackingwellness.com, but you can also find me at facebook.com/biohackingwellness, and also YouTube videos at Biohacking Wellness. Just search it out. Private consultation, if you're interested, email me. I Skype and I record the whole session, so you don't even have to take notes. So if there's anything you want an extended training on, you want help with diabetes, you want help with cholesterol issues, you want to get your body in the best health of your life, just reach out to me and I would be happy to help you. I've got more things coming your way, so stay tuned to that email newsletter that I send out. This is Sandra Miller from Biohacking Wellness, your health coach, and I will see you again soon. It's been great.